Good morning and welcome to another video. We're starting the day with a smoothie from Berry Acai. Seemed like they had really good lattes in there, so I would recommend this. Is very good. We are actually working with Buzz4 Tours today and doing a buggy tour. We're working with them on our Instagram, so on here I'm going to be telling you if it's actually worth taking a buggy out and exploring Rome that way. So I'll see you when we get there. Buzz4 is a company where you can rent either buzzes or buggies, which is what we're doing, or you can rent a Vespa, and they're so cool looking. And we're in.
Okay, ready to go. Let's do it.
Ready to go. This is already so cool. They're sharing pieces of history with us over the walkie-talkie. Right now we're driving through Colosseum, which used to just be fields, no buildings until the 1900s. And it's really cool getting that information as you're driving through the city. We made it over to St. Peter's Basilica. That's our first stop for the day. We have gone here before and given you a lot of the information. We're zooming. If you watched our last video, you know that we rented a car. From the passenger perspective, it seems like it's easier to drive and maneuver this. Would you agree, driver? Yeah.
They're speedy and they're nimble, like a smart car basically.
But even smaller. We stopped in front of this beautiful view and he was pointing out all of the important places. One thing that I think is really cool is the mountains that fully surround Rome are called the Spine of Rome. And also this is a volcanic city, so a lot of the things that we've seen we didn't realize were made of volcanic ash. Like just this right here, made of volcanic ash. So honestly, already we're only on the second stop and I'm learning so much. I already believe that at the end, I'm gonna recommend this tour. There is so much information to pack just on this alone. But one thing that I thought was interesting, this is Garibaldi up on top and it says Rome or die. You've got the fascist symbols on it because this was built during the time of Mussolini. So it's really cool that you have not just the history that this is trying to portray, but the history of the time it was built as well that you're seeing.
This is such a good way to see the city.
Thumbs up. So there's another beautiful view behind us. We were pointing out things like the Spanish Steps, the altar of the Fatherland, things like that. And then we have this. This was built from a lot of scraps from different monuments, and it's by the same person that finished up St. Peter's Basilica. His name is Paul. His name's right up here. We're in Trastevere now. We're in the most famous square here, and we're always so happy to be back in Trastevere. But we're popping into this church. I'll say once again, anytime you're going into any church here, which highly recommend to go in every church here, make sure that you do cover up your shoulders. So I'm wearing a shirt that's cut off. I make sure I bring a little shirt in my bag just to be respectful for everyone. All along the walls here, you've got ledgerings from the catacombs, so you can catch little symbols like right up here you've got the anchor, which is the older symbol for Christianity. A man with his arms open, which is how they used to pray. So really, really cool information, and I would definitely say you have to come here with some type of guide at least, even if you don't specifically do this tour. It's really cool to have all of these little engravings explained. And now we're at the next stop. We are about to look through this keyhole up here. There's a bit of a queue. The vibes here are immaculate. Make sure if you come here a bit early. And our guide is taking us to a lot of places that we haven't seen before. So it's not just your basic stops that you could have picked on your own. It's a lot of places that you maybe wouldn't have found on your own. So I really appreciate this tour for that. Back in the buggy! Obviously, we love all of the stops, but our favorite part is definitely driving around in the buggy, getting the breeze. Oh my gosh. My biggest piece of advice for this tour is bring sunscreen, especially if you're here in the summer times like we are. We are walking up towards Palatine Hill, right? Yeah, we just saw the oldest racetrack in the world. Right now, he said we're on the procession for execution, and that they used to throw traitors down this hill into the little spot that I'm showing you right now. It's a little dark, but it's still cool to think about. Stopping at the Roman Forum, which is one of our favorite places here in Rome to see It's just so incredible how much of the history is still preserved. It is a little hard to get to this view if you don't know where you're going, but if you're right here, you're able to go up and around and come up to this beautiful view on top. You do have to pay to actually go into the Roman Forum, so this is a nice way to kind of view it all for free. But I'd say come up to this view if you've already been here before, because you really do need to go down and have a guide explain all of the different places down here. Definitely one of the best places to check out here in Rome. This is the reason it's so hard to build in Rome. Technically that's underground, so as they go to build things, they dig down and they just find all of these ancient things here. They're still finding things. It's pretty incredible, but it does make it very hard for any builders out here. But really cool for us that they just keep discovering lower and lower. I said in our last Rome videos in September that Rome is like an archaeological lasagna. There are so many layers of history and they just keep uncovering more. This tour finally taught us the difference between a church and a basilica. If you go in and right at the end there's a throne, that's a basilica. Without the throne, it's just a church. I know that I mess up the names all the time between basilicas, churches, things like that. So knowing that little piece of information is very helpful for me. We're passing the altar of the Fatherland. Definitely come here. We didn't know that this was the headquarters of Mussolini, where he would come out and speak sometimes. We've had our first dilemma. Honestly, I don't know how the group got lost. We were going straight, but they got lost. Us being James being the great driver he is, we were right there with the guide, but he went back to go grab them. Honestly, kind of a fun part of the tour. It makes it a little bit more spicy. While we are stopped for a bit, I'm gonna let you know a little bit about this tour. You have the option to either go by yourself with an iPad as your guide, or you can actually go on a guided tour with a physical person guide. And that's what we chose to do. And I'm so happy we did, because I've said it a million times. Having a guide explain what everything is and take you to some of the spots that you wouldn't have been able to Google or look up on your own is very valuable. And it makes it very fun for us when we've kind of seen those main tourist sites already.
Yeah, I mean, we've passed a lot of the stuff we're passing now, but had no idea what it was, so it's cool to be like in a familiar area but learning a completely different thing about it.
Yes,
because we had absolutely no idea.
Half these places you're never gonna find by yourself. Like,
yeah,
you're just not.
That's what we've been saying. Reunited and it feels so good. Yeah, whole team is back together and we're off. Of course, we had to stop at the Colosseum. We love this place. And by the way, the Arch of Constantine here is free to go to. Of course, for a Colosseum tour, you're gonna have to pay, but it's beautiful. It's huge. 400,000 people were able to fit in here at one time. And there's so many exits that they could get out of there within 10 minutes. It's giant, so be prepared for a long tour if you go on the tour of the Colosseum. You kind of have to when you come here. It's just the rules. We made a stop over at the Trevi Fountain. I told you a lot about that 2 videos ago, so you're just gonna have to check it out to learn about the chalice over here and things like that. I really want to do another video coming up where we really explain the Trevi Fountain, but it was built to celebrate an aqueduct being repaired, and it took so long, but it is so beautiful. You can't stop at all the places we did without going to the Pantheon. We love it over here. Really good food in this area, by the way. We talked about this about 2 videos ago as well. It is never needed to be refurbished, reconstructed, anything like that. It's all original Roman architecture. Another thing that's lasted a very long time is this hotel right here. It's been a hotel since the 1400s and it's still a hotel today. It's an incredible stop, definitely one you have to go to while you're here. If you've ever been to Rome before, you probably guessed that we were going to Piazza Navona next. And you were right. This used to be a place where they did athletic games, and they still do sometimes. Actually, last time we were here, maybe like a week or so ago, they were doing some athletic games here. So depending on the time you come by, it's either nice and quiet like this. You can see some artists doing artwork and it's really peaceful, nice dinner places, or you come here and it's super busy and crazy and there's some crazy like athletic game going on. When the athletic games happened here, it was a stadium with seats. All of these buildings are built on top of those seats. We finished up our tour. We just dropped off our buggy actually right over here. They recommended this pizza spot right across the street, so very convenient. But we were actually able to snag an affiliate link. Like I said, this video is not sponsored by them, but it was an amazing tour. And if you're interested in it and want 10% off, use code 𝐾&J on their website, which I'll put right here. Definitely check them out. And if you do so, let us know. We'd love to know that you went on this tour and see all the pictures. We had some leftovers after lunch, and we're about to take a scooter over to our apartment. So this is how I'm carrying the pizza right now. I am pretty proud of how good I am at engineering a solution, but we're just going back to our apartment for a bit to get a little bit of work done, take a little break, and then we'll be right back for dinner. For you, it'll be in 1 second, so I'll see you at dinner. Since we last talked, we went back to the apartment, showered, took a couple seconds. I'm not gonna lie, we died for a bit, but we decided it's so worth it to get out to dinner. I made a reservation at my favorite restaurant in Rome. I love this place. I've thought about it every day since the first time we had it. We're going for the second time, and we're gonna go again a third time on Saturday. But I've got my scooter to head over because our apartment's a little bit far.